Yes, people. How's everyone today? This very warm day, actually. Nice to see, isn't it? Anyway, Big Sam just done his press conference. Big game on, big game on Sunday. Is it? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it's a big game. Let's be real. Last game of the season. Yeah, Sam's brilliant in it. We talk to the press. They give you so much little funny little moments in there, but yeah, it's one of them games now where at the end of the day, just win it because it can happen. Like it could. That's the fact of it, and that's why I hate this game. I've been sitting here all week going point, but then when you hear a conference and you hear how it's happened in the past, that teams with greater odds of going down have stayed up, you actually makes you think actually it is possible. And don't get me wrong, we all know it's extremely unlikely. But when you hear actually that has happened before quite a few times in difficult situations, that this is football at the end of the day and anything's possible. But at the end of the day, you just have to do your bit, right? And then rely on others to help you out, which has happened before. We just have to do our bit. And then if it's not good enough, it's not good enough. That bit of hair is still there. Yeah, it's not. If it's not good enough, it's just not good enough. Then at least you did your bit, right? But it's just got to be the mentality. That's why they got it on the road. That's why they're getting in these legends to galvanise them one last time and bring the best and the most they can out of each individual going into that final game, reliant on other results, but you have to do your bit. So when people say it's too late and all that, it isn't. It was too late for Sam came kind of thing. You have to at least try. They can't give up. If it's that pointless, we just wouldn't turn up to the game. You know what I mean? There is still something there to play for. You do your bit. You have to just have the luck on your side that the others don't do their bit. It's extremely unlikely, but that's the result. He talked about mentality as well. And again, something I'm huge on, obviously. Something all I speak about is mentality. And when I criticise the mentality of the players, it's that I'm not going at them. That's just the way it is. And the mentality isn't good enough in certain situations. That's not necessarily down to them, that's down to the way they work. And you gain aspects of mentality dealing with this pressure, dealing with adversity, dealing with difficult situations through doing it, through experience. This is why you can learn a lot as a person and as an athlete in these situations that Leeds are in right now. The issue is we don't have enough people that have that mentality to deal with this. As Sam said, the players that went through it last year, he's looking to them to pull us out of it. It's probably not enough of them fit on the pitch. And there's probably too much inexperience on the pitch to deal with these situations. And that's why I said earlier, in a few videos ago, the players we have are talented. And they would do fine. We were in a situation where we'd got a few different results and we're sitting 10th to 14th most of the season. These players would be really good with the lack of pressure and a bit of looking upwards. But it's been very downwards since the fourth game of the season, really. But to have that, when you go in a rut and you struggle to win, builds and builds and builds, and that relegation mentality seeps into you. You don't have the experience to get you out of it. You're going to stay in it. That's what's happened. Mentality wise, I have to say. Sam spoke about that and how it's something you either have to deal with it yourself. You have to figure a way to figure that out. You have to learn from it through experience. You have to get on with it and hope that enough players in that team are good enough to pull you through it. And that's where he spoke about what Luke Ayling said in Luke Ayling's comments on fatigue. And I don't know if I said this in the video, but I think I was going to say it in this one if Sam didn't bring it up, which he did. Fatigue, what I took from that was it was a mental fatigue. So people always associate fatigue with physical. But physical fatigue a lot of the time is based on mentality. You could be extremely tired, but have that mentality to not give up and keep going, and you can run an extra 100, 200 meters, right? You see at the end of marathons, you see these guys are done, but they have that in them. That second wind, whatever, that comes from mentality. Your body doesn't suddenly recover quicker. That's mentality. That's believing that you're going to put this effort in and that's going to get the result that you want, right? And when Luke said they've not got it in them, it's because it's cumulated through weeks and weeks of just negative results, mistakes, all this stuff, that they don't think they've got that in them mentally to carry their bodies 90 minutes or 55 minutes, because that's how long the ball's in play for. Given this has been a thing for 2 years now, constant stress, that constant thoughts in your mind, that negative thoughts in your mind of just eating away your physical thoughts. My legs, I'm not going to hit my legs. And I've been there. It's like when you get nervous and your legs feel heavy, lead boots, like Sam spoke. It's that feeling, and it's trying to alleviate that feeling to the way you just feel free, ready to run. And they've not got that in them to alleviate that fatigue and push. Because let's be real, everyone's tired. Footballs will be absolutely tired. All of them will be done by the 60th, 70th minute. It's them last 20 minutes when you're tired. How does your brain react to that? And how can that push you forward? Under Marcelo, we were extremely physically fit. They almost didn't matter about that mental fatigue. But for most teams, you have to rely on that. That's how you set up a game state. That's how you change the game situation. You sit a little deeper to alleviate that. But the more deeply we sat was based on the fact that we didn't think we could press and go forward and push all that time, because mentally we think, you're thinking the negative, you're thinking the worst thing. So then you go into factory settings and just sit, right? Try and bring back that fatigue that you have. It's a really complex situation, mentality and fatigue. But if you can overcome mental fatigue and run a lot more. In them little moments, you saw Morgan Gibbs-White for Forest. He'd have been done, but he had that mentality that carried his body to sprint in the last 10 minutes of the game, and no one else could. That's what it is. That's what we were looking for, and we didn't have that. Speaking about the subs, they didn't bring that because they weren't tired physically when they came on that pitch. Mentally, they were already tired because they already came on that pitch thinking that they were not going to get anything. They already came on that pitch thinking they were not going to impact the game, not knowing how to impact the game, not believing in themselves to impact that game. And that was the issue. When you see subs come on that are inspired, they often win the game, right? And that's the difference. When you bring a sub on, they do not do what you require them. Like Sam said, he's going to be very annoyed. Because that's what you require from them. They were the issues. It's linking that mentality with the physical body, understanding the role that you have as a footballer at this club, doing everything in every moment. Not that they don't want to do it, it's that the mentality makes them think they can't. Whether that's making them feel more fatigued than they actually are, and lead boots, them heavy legs, we've all been there. Mentality is huge. The reason we go down, the overall riding reason, is two big ones, and I'll talk about them in the video when that happens, if that happens, when it happens, but if it happens. Mentality is a beyond important thing. It's the biggest thing. That's it on that. Going into the game now, what can we do, in terms of personnel? And it's just about getting the best out of each individual. Sam spoke about what happens after the season. He said he's not going to speak at that until Sunday, and he hopes he has a hangover on Monday. That's me too, to be honest. Best believe. But yeah, there's nothing left. We just have to win that football game, or it's done. Going into next season, Sam talked about his future and his job in the future, and would he take it? The problems he's noticed, and one thing I believe in with Sam is his honesty, and he's very truthful in what he says. He believes he has a problem there's a problem at a club and he says there's a problem, he's probably right. So regardless if he's here or not, and that's another video conversation, what he says is important. Whether they believe in him to take the club forward, listen to what he says is wrong. Because he's probably right. He's got all the experience in the world to know what is right. Actually, I know you probably don't want this, but I think Sam would be great in a kind of director role at a club, to be honest. Maybe that's something you'll consider. I don't know. Maybe he's not bothered about all that. But just a thought. Yeah. That's it on that game. It's very simple, isn't it? Win the game. And that's all we can hope for. The crowd will be there. The crowd will do their bit. It would be reliant on results. We'll know every 5 minutes when the crowd are, or the crowd suddenly start cheering. You know, then as a player, you hear that. That's there's a chance. Boom. Have to capitalise and just win that game anyway. I just want to quickly touch on Darko Gyabi. Everyone's talking about Darko Gyabi. Rightfully so. You guys know, everyone that's watched this for a while knows that I'm a Darko Gyabi stan. I love the kid. I think his talent he has a high ceiling in this entire squad for me. High ceiling in terms of what he could reach. Not saying he will, but what he could. I watched him the other day, yesterday. I've watched him twice. I'm loving watching the youth teams. It's brilliant. Been watching Archie and all that, and Matteo Joseph has been playing on the wing. England have their favourites, which is a problem, but let's not get into that. Darko Gyabi, yeah, playing that role in central midfield. This is an outstanding player, guys. The reason he's not been playing more is clearly down to training. Like, he's obviously not impressing enough, or he would play. It's as simple as that. But for me, that guy next season in the Championship could really, really develop. He needs a good off season, and he could come back next season if we're in the Championship and really put a foot down to start. I believe in that much. The other ones are not there yet. He could be there for me. He could be that guy who breaks through in the Championship and has an outstanding season. Because he's the type of player who has every attribute. I watched him. His movement. The only things I notice from him right now that he needs to improve, and I'm sure he will improve, is one, is doing risky things in risky areas. Now, it's risk and reward, right? That's the type of player he is. So you don't want to take that away from his game. But certain times in games, he does get caught trying a Cruyff turn just in front of the back four. That happens. It's about choosing the right decision. And the other one is defensively. He does get beat a little too easily. He defends a bit square on sometimes. He gets beat too easily. If he can alleviate them and just work constantly on consisting on his attacking movements, his attacking play, there's a real player in there. A player that could really help Leeds United next season. Believe me. I really believe in that guy. He's now got to just push himself that little more to get to that first team. So that's clearly the barrier. Otherwise, he would be. He needs to do that pre-season. Got to push him. He's got to make a statement and say, "I want to play. I want to start." And sky's the limit for him. But yeah, that's all I've got. Let me know what you guys think. Again, there's not much we can say really. We discussed the mentality. Now we just have to go and get these results. That result, and hope the others win. Others lose. God. Yeah, I appreciate the support as always. Obviously, please like and subscribe. It's yeah, it's what it is, isn't it? Shows the support, doesn't it? It helps out. Yeah. Peace to you all, legends.